Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you live around the world. One of the things that I sometimes try and avoid is delving off onto different journeys to look at the different models when I have an idea. But the flip side is that's exactly what you should do. And it will generally prove that your gut reaction or feeling is probably the one that you should listen to some of the time, but if you don't examine those occasional thoughts, you can miss out on an opportunity. In this case, we're looking at the hub again, and it's quite different, but sometimes doing these, I've done this bracket before, and I rejected it, and I, for the love of me, can't really think why I rejected it, because I think it addresses some of the issues I've been having with this whole strut idea. Especially, I do still like the plate, the tabbed plate. I think that is a really, really good idea. But this tubular hub also has its place, and what we're going to look at, it's nothing new. In the scheme of things, it's nothing new, but it does away with a lot of the problems and has a lot of the advantages of having a hub and it being able to be adjusted to suit the different struts. This is still retaining for me, this is the size of steel hub that is available, the smaller size, and it's 114 millimeters in diameter. Probably 5mm wall thickness, and what we've got here is a section of, well, it's a box section that has had the one side of it removed. So, oops, don't want to do that. Ungroup that. Explode. So that's it there. It's a box section, as I said, 150mm by 50. The end cut out, 3mm wall thickness, and that allows a 50mm piece of timber to fit in between. It'll also accept a bit of 45mm timber if you're using dressed timber, which is the size that we have here in New Zealand. So, the distance between here to here is 44mm. I'm going to suggest that 45mm piece of timber might just fit in there with a wee bit of a squeeze or a wee bit of a trim. The bolts, however, are inserted from the inside of the box section. They don't have to be, but when you think about it, if we have a bolt on the inside of the box section going through the hub, the steel hub, we put the nut on the outside. We don't have to get access to spanners or get it here because the nut is already captured in the box section. More than likely rigidly done, maybe threaded, just as supposing. So we could drill a hole, thread it, put the bolt in, so it's captured right at the get-go, and then we can insert the strut and bolt or screw through the sides. Put as many screws, fixings as we'd want. This makes it rigid in all directions, so up and down, taken care of. In this case, the steel is pretty much flush with the timber in this scenario. We can shape it if we want to. We'll get to that in a minute. But we could shape it if we wanted to better represent the actual strut. Keep it back a margin, whatever. Insert the strut bracket bolts into the hub, bolt it up. Now, we put the nuts on and tighten it up. And I thought, that doesn't seem too bad an idea. There's 8 of them, and even though they bang into each other at this stage, that's not a problem. And we know that we have an 8 strut hub in the other models that we've been making. And no, they're not evenly spaced, so some of them, this one here and this one here, would bang into the other struts and the brackets a little bit more. However, if you think about it, I'll just put a guide on there and there. We could quite easily move these out. I'm just going to say 10 millimeters. Do it the same there. So now they don't bang into each other. And that can be achieved by a spacer. Now, that's going to be a whole lot easier than anything we've done so far, including the tabbed plate. So this box section can be cut to length, the ends cut out. It's a little bit annoying, but it's not particularly hard to do. So it's pretty much a standard piece of steel. You get them in whatever lengths you can get them in, and dock them down, drill the holes, done. Ditto for the tube, get a length, dock them down to the size you have determined is desirable or needed, and your only complexity is drilling the holes. And I'm going to suggest that's not that complex. So that's what we've got there. Interesting. So we can then move to this situation or configuration where we make, it's going to be so much easier. We can cut narrow strips. In this case, it's 50 mil long, or deep this way rather. And we've got the separate rings to go accordingly. Not necessary, but possible. It also means that we can assemble the hub, the struts, with the bracket already attached. It's good. Assemble the bottom ring, or insert it into the bottom ring. Basically, that you're done, and then you reinforce it with the top ring. Now, the top ring would probably, in my dreams of making this, just the ideas, be slotted down the bottom below the bolt, so it can actually, the ring itself can be lowered onto the bolts, and therefore not have any problems of inserting the hubs into a more rigid structure like we've got here. Well, rigid as in it won't move very far. The more hubs, struts that we put onto the hub, the less likely we're going to be able to move it. Certainly won't be moving it easily. So that's another alternative. And of course, we look at the next option where we can make the brackets shaped for good reason, I think. Make them a little bit less bulky. Just hiding these ones. So now you've got whatever width you want here. These have been separated a little bit more, which makes it the stability and strength of the whole structure better, because when you move your fixing points further away, they become more betterer. Yeah, I know. It's my standard little attempt at joke. But the fact that we can angle the top of the bracket here means we can lift the whole bracket up higher, making that bolt there higher up on the strut itself. Again, making the fixings much more stronger. You're just distributing the holding power over a bigger area. Likewise, it's possible that you could lower this a bit more, this bottom one, because after all, we've only got a short bolt to worry about, not some long inserted bolt that has to have some extra fixings. Like I had shown, a threaded rod with a hole through the strut into that approach. Still think it's a really good idea, and I think this is where that takes precedence in a lot of ways because of the aesthetics. Would it look better than this? And the answer is, yeah, probably. Probably would look better than this. However, this has a lot less complexities. Now, the other option, which is probably the one that you'd want to look at seriously, is not having a box section which you have to cut something out. because then we're limited to whatever box section we want and the internal dimensions, the wall thicknesses. The ones I've looked at come in 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 5 and 6 millimetre wall thicknesses. So you're not going to run out of options. And that is in the 50 by 150 mil sizes. So we've got plenty of options there. However, if you wanted to, why can't you just get a bit of flat bar and bend it? Now that accommodates whatever timber you want. You may not want or need to recess the timber for this to go, or fit. You can just bend so that internal dimensions are whatever size timber that you have chosen to use. Therefore, it makes it look a little bit tidier in this department, so it's not recessed. It's whatever you want. If this is all painted up in the same colour, it would probably blend in pretty good anyway. But this, it leaves the top surfaces unadulterated, bottom unadulterated. You can lift these up into position, wherever we decide it's wise to do so, and then you're done. So, yeah, same thing. We'd slot the top ring below the bolt so the ring can be inserted later, and then all the washers and nuts be put in place. So, yeah, I think that is actually a really good option. And why not? There's another alternative too. You don't have a 3-sided box. You have just an L shape, one that then you double up, so you'd have a double layer L shaped bracket here. That just makes the whole width issue a moot point. You won't have to bend anything. It probably could be a bit of unequal angle. Probably, having just said what I said about bending, you may just want to have that single bend as an L shape and be done with. Drill a hole in it. As I said, the one lays over the other. You would never know, but the ease of construction might be just that little bit easier. We'll just have a bracket, make it up. As I said, bend, put the 2 bends in it, and it's done. Can't be that difficult. Wee bending brake would be good for doing that, to keep the bends and the nice and sharp and neat and the same width apart. But yeah, got a lot going for it. I'm going to give it some more thought. It's photos I've seen that are very, very similar. In fact, the photo that I saw was the timbers were only 25 millimetres wide, but they're about 8 inches or deep or more deep. And I thought it was quite unusual. But the struts themselves weren't that long, so it must have been a higher frequency dome. But I don't know why they chose that. The brackets were a lot smaller. They're a single bracket, so there's that. I just consider the wider bracket, or which I prefer the smaller one, for looks. But you really want that top edge stable. But if you were cladding the tops with plywood, it's going to stabilise it anyway. So there we go. I just thought I'd draw that model up just as a bit of an example. I like it. Now, how do I equate this? Aesthetic-wise, I'd put it lower down the list. Are aesthetics that critical? Yes, but I can see the advantages even over my much preferred threaded rod and hub assembly. That does have the aesthetic high ground over this, but it wouldn't take much to do a prototype of all of those models that we've looked at so far, the tabbed plate, the threaded rod inserted into the timber just as a mock-up, and then this one. The layered plate, we've got the donut plus tabs. I quite like the looks of that, but there's a lot going on in the donut, you know what I'm talking about, the ring and the tabs. I do like that looks of that. The tab plate probably does have the aesthetic high ground in a lot of ways, but this, that just goes in the mix. I thought I'd add that. If I don't use it and you think about it and you go, oh yeah, or, maybe we should look at that, let us know. We'll do some more modelling on it. I'm not going to worry too much about it because we tend to split our energies, which was the comment right at the beginning. The gut reaction is sometimes just leave it alone, or let's have a look at it because it might be worth something. Even if it's to say we've looked at it and have rejected it, that's fine. I like the idea that everything's nice and square to each other. We've got the cuts of the struts at the angle required, permitting that to be the case. But yeah, certainly an alternative. I'd put that level pegging. I'd put this in level pegging in second place. The second place is the hub and threaded rod. So this would be on par, maybe in third place. And of course, the tabbed plate is probably still the best option. Now, for ease of construction, this probably would be easier to do than the tabbed plate. Possibly. But yeah, we've got these choices. Or we just say, no, I don't want to do any of them. We'd have the non-hubbed version of the dome, like I have shown in the last couple of videos, or last video at least. Anyway, rightio. Well, that's it. Getting late on a Sunday evening. I will probably have a couple of days off. I've got the meetings tomorrow or Tuesday rather, so I might be otherwise distracted. Okay, that's it. I will see you in the next video with another riveting adventure. Oh, yeah, I know. No, it would just be good to have a little bit more focus for what we want to do in the dome, but we're almost there, I think. Rightio, that's it. I'll see you later. Bye now.